Hello my friends, welcome back to Pensando Inglés. First of all, let me apologize guys. I'm sorry if my voice sounds a little weird today, but I'm a little bit sick, okay? I'm a little sick, I'm not feeling great, but I still wanted to make a video for you guys. So I hope that it doesn't sound too ugly to listen to my voice in this video, okay? Because I have a pretty interesting topic, I think. And I think you guys will be able to learn some useful vocabulary from this. So I apologize because my nose is very congested and my voice sounds a little weird today, but I'm gonna try my best to give you guys some good English today, okay? It's gonna take more than a cold for me to stop making these videos. So this video is going to be about the worst injury that I ever had. An injury is when you get hurt doing a sport or whatever you're doing. I'm going to tell you guys about the worst injury that I ever had. I had to get a surgery and how it happened and the consequences of this injury, the things I had to deal with. It was a pretty difficult time, but that's the experience that I'm going to share with you guys today. So this happened several years ago. I think I may have mentioned this a couple times in videos, but I never really talked about what really happened. The reason I'm doing this is because recently, in the last couple weeks, 2 different subscribers have mentioned my shoulder. A couple weeks ago, somebody said, "Hey, what happened to your shoulder?" And I was thinking, why were they saying that? But then yesterday, another subscriber commented and said, "Hey, maybe it's just me, but do you have a tick in your right shoulder?" And I watched the video that he commented on, and I saw I kept doing this. Kept doing that, and I do that a lot when I'm driving sin querer, without even thinking about it. But it's because this shoulder feels very uncomfortable to me a lot of times because it got injured a couple of years ago. So yeah, I move this shoulder around a lot. I'm always trying to kind of stretch it like this because it's just a really ugly feeling in there. It doesn't feel normal like this shoulder. I try and do stretches and exercises, and it's feeling better lately that I've been doing a lot of extra stretching and exercises on it, but it still just doesn't feel right. So oftentimes I feel very uncomfortable in this shoulder, and that's why you'll see me moving it around. So let's talk about what happened. I think this happened, let's see, it's 2024. This probably happened in 2020. Somewhere around then. It was before COVID, so it was probably 2019 when I hurt my shoulder. A lot of you guys know that I have spent a lot of time training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and this is how I got hurt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, how I got the worst injury of my life, okay? And it was from a buddy of mine who did it to me, all right, because we were training. So in Jiu-Jitsu, you do something called rolling. Rolling is like sparring, or when you're basically fighting with your friend, okay? You're not trying to hurt each other, you're just trying to practice the techniques, but you go hard so that you can practice and both get better. The problem is sometimes you could get hurt, it's hard on your body, and this time I got hurt really bad. So in Jiu-Jitsu, there's 2 different types of Jiu-Jitsu. There's gi, which is this outfit, and then there's no gi. So I did both, okay? But this day I was training with a gi on. And a gi has long sleeves, okay, that go all the way down here. And a friend of mine used a certain technique on me where he grabbed my sleeves, you put your foot into the person's stomach, and then you roll backwards, and the person flies over you and hits the ground. Okay, it's called a circle throw. This is a picture of what it basically looks like, so you guys could get a little idea. In this moment, I was the guy that was flying in the air, okay? He landed this move on me. I didn't know about this move at the time, and he caught me with it. So he had my sleeves in his hands like this, and he threw me over him, and I landed, boom, on my shoulder, boom. Now, it didn't hurt, but I felt like my body was paralyzed. I couldn't move, okay? I couldn't move my arm. and it was a very strange feeling. I felt very cold. I felt very cold. My body like felt like there was ice water, agua con hielo en mi sangre o algo. It was very weird. And I think it was my body going into shock. So what happened was, there's a part in your shoulder called an AC joint, okay? The AC joint is where your arm connects to your shoulder, okay? And there are 3 ligaments. I'll look up what the word ligament is in Spanish and put it right here. There are 3 ligaments there, and all 3 of them popped when I hit the ground, okay? So this part of my arm was hanging down here. It was not attached, all right? Ugh. Nasty. So that happened. The gym was full of people. Everybody stopped and were like, whoa, whoa, are you okay? Are you okay? I took my gi off, and I wasn't wearing a shirt underneath. I took it off, and everybody saw my arm hanging down, okay? Everybody saw my arm hanging down, and we thought that my shoulder came out of the socket, and sometimes you could put it back. So they tried to put it back in, and it just fell back down. Ugh. Ugh. So the instructor took my belt, mi cinturón, from jiu-jitsu and made a sling to wrap my arm and tied it up like this. And then I went to the emergency room. I went to the hospital. And they gave me some medicine. They did x-rays and they saw all the damage and everything. And then I had to go and see a specialist who does bones and joints. And they scheduled me for a surgery. Okay? So I've got some pictures that I want to share with you guys. I'm giving you a warning right now, okay? Some of these pictures are nasty. Asqueroso. So if you don't want to see them, turn the video off now, okay? But first I want to show you how my arm looked hanging there, and that is this picture. You could see that it was hanging down like that much. You could see the bone up here just sticking out, okay? Then I want to show you the x-ray so that you can see what it looked like on the inside. And a lot of times with x-rays, people look at it and they're like, well, I don't see anything. But you will immediately see what's wrong in this one. So here's the x-ray. Oof. So yeah, that was pretty bad. Okay, so then I went and saw this specialist. He told me we need to do a surgery. So this is the only surgery I've ever had. Operation. And we did the surgery. So in the surgery, they took a wire, like a cable, a titanium cable, and drilled some holes. I still have the scar. You probably can't see it that well. But they cut and then they drilled holes. And then they tied it all together. They put some screws and some cable to wrap it all up. If you touch my shoulder right here, you can feel one of the screws. So the surgery, I just remember they took me in there, they had me lay down, and they brought out this big needle, a needle that they inject you with, okay? And they had to stick it in my shoulder and find the nerve so that they could numb the pain, I guess. And I just remember how nervous I was because I don't like needles. I don't like getting shots. Guys, I could be very tough about most things in this life, but when it comes to needles, I don't know why. I hate them. I hate needles. I hate getting shots. Hate them. I do so many things that people are like, wow, how do you do that? I would be so scared. But when it comes to a needle, I'm like, I'm a big chicken. So anyway, I got the surgery, and when I came out of the surgery, my mom came and picked me up, took me home, and they gave me some medicine, some pain medicine, but I don't like to take that because I didn't want to take drugs. and they make me sick and I don't like how they feel. So I didn't take the pain medicine they gave me. And then after a few hours, I felt the worst pain I've ever felt in my arm, okay? Because I didn't take the pain medicine, I was feeling from where they cut me, I was feeling where they drilled. Oh, it was terrible, guys. It hurt so bad. So after the surgery, I want to show you guys a picture of how they fixed my arm and how it looked. So this one here, my arm was like that after the surgery, and I had to keep it like that, okay, for a couple weeks. So this meant that I had to sleep sitting up, sentando así. I could not lay down because I couldn't let my arm move. I had to sleep sitting up. Guys, that was so difficult. So I was taking medicine to sleep. I was drinking wine to try and fall asleep because it was so hard to fall asleep sitting up. That was one of the hard things. One of the other hard things is that I'm right-handed. I write with my right hand and I do everything with my right hand. And this happened to my right shoulder. So I had to learn how to brush my teeth with my left hand. I had to learn how to cook, how to go to the bathroom, how to clean myself, how to do everything left-handed. That was difficult. That was pretty tough. So yeah, that was some of the difficulties of dealing with the surgery itself. The hardest parts were sleeping, sitting up, and learning how to do everything with my left hand. And keep in mind that my son was still with me always. Thankfully, I have the best mom ever, so she helped me a ton. But, you know, it was tough for my son because he wants to play, and I'm sitting there with my arm stuck in a sling, is what they call it. So that was tough. Here's another picture of what it looks like when they cut it. The scars. That one's pretty nasty. Kind of looks cool. And then finally, I'll show you guys a picture of once it started healing up, how my shoulder finally got back in the right place. So yeah, that was the surgery, dealing with the after effects of it, getting used to living with just my left hand for a couple weeks. I wasn't able to work. Thankfully, I worked for the same company I work for now, and they have a program where if something happens to you, you get something called sick pay, where they pay you like 75% of your normal money, the normal pay that you get. So I was still making some money, and yeah, it was a tough time. It was a tough time, but I got back into working out. I did physical therapy for a while, and I think it was like 6 or 8 months after the surgery. 6 or 8 months after the surgery, I went back to the jiu-jitsu gym and started training again. When I walked in there, I got like a hero's welcome. Everybody was like, whoa! Because they thought that there's no way somebody would come back after that injury. After that happened to somebody, they're like, oh, we're never gonna see this guy again. But I came back, and everybody was super happy to see me. And that was one of the things that Miguel said when he gave me my blue belt, Cinturón Azul. He gave me that, and he said, this guy got a huge injury, and he came back. I thought I'd never see him again, but he came back and kept training. So I was really proud of that I didn't let that stop me. All right, guys, so that's the story of the worst injury I ever had, dealing with the surgery a little bit, and why you'll see me do things like this. It's because this feels super uncomfortable and it doesn't feel right. I would say this shoulder feels like 80% normal, but there's still a little bit that just feels weird. Something in there just doesn't feel like it's the way it should be. But I could work out, I could do anything with this arm, so I'm happy with that. And if I have to deal with a little bit of discomfort, that's all right. All right, guys, I hope this video was interesting. I hope that you got some good English. I hope that you are having a great week, that you are chasing your goals, that you are becoming a better person every day. Como siempre, mis amigos queridos, muchísimas gracias por ver. Nos vemos pronto.